Good morning, Nevlin Knights. It's Mrs. Hackensmith. Today is Friday, May 22nd. So, on our matrix for today, it tells us to read the science spin magazine called Rocket Man. So, you are going to read this one. And then when we get over to the book camera, I will talk to you about how you can read with it on the Scholastic like you do for the other Scholastic News. Okay? Before we go over to the book camera, though, I also want you to do a page from your memory book. Okay, so far you should have done, your memory book looks like this, and you should have done the first 2 pages. You should have done in 2nd grade. And then if you can, send me these on Seesaw and record yourself talking about them. Or else take a close enough picture so that I can read them. And then yesterday we were supposed to do all about me. And you were supposed to talk about your favorite things. So today we're going to talk about more of our favorite things. It's called My Favorites. So you're going to talk about my favorite sport, my favorite color, my favorite book, my favorite author, my favorite food, my favorite school subject, my favorite game, my favorite toy, my favorite place to be, my favorite movie, my favorite television show, my favorite song, my favorite animal, my favorite recess activity, my favorite school lunch, and my favorite season. Okay? Just spell them the best that you can. If mom or dad or an older brother or sister is able to help you out with the spelling, that's wonderful. But don't get hung up on spelling. Just do the best you can. Remember, I'm pretty good at reading 2nd grade spelling. So go ahead and do that one today. Alrighty, my favorites in your school memory book. Alrighty. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the book camera and I'm going to introduce you to the science spin. And I'm going to show you how you can get on that like your other science news magazines. Okay, I'll meet you over there. Okay, so here's our science spin for today. I'm just going to go over the text features that we go over when we look at a nonfiction piece of text. We have Rocket Man is the title. It says, this is Leland Melvin. He loves dogs, football, and being an astronaut. And there we can see him in his astronaut suit. Alrighty. So we have the main title or the headline, the hardest job in the galaxy. Here's a picture of him. And then over here is the caption. It says, in space, his food floated. Okay, and then we have the subtitles. Leland learned that being an astronaut is hard but amazing. And then it talks about astronaut training, the rocket launch, and working in space. And then we've got the vocabulary words, the big black bold words. We have spacesuit, astronaut, and we have gravity. Over here we have another picture with the caption, Leland took off in this. So that was his space capsule, his space shuttle. And then over here we have a little sidebar. Before he was an astronaut. So you're going to read about what he was before he was an astronaut. You're going to answer some questions. And then on the back, diagram of a spacesuit. So here's the picture with the different captions. You're going to learn about the features of a spacesuit and then answer some questions. Now, our Scholastic News, we're able to go online and do that. And we can also do that for the science spin too. See, this one isn't a Scholastic News, it's a science spin. So it's a little different. So what you do is up here in the corner, you go to www.scholastic.com/, but instead of SN2, you're going to put in Science Spin 2. And it's right up here in this orange little area. So I've got mine all ready to go. I went to the website and I'm going to hit log in. It says I am a teacher, I am a student, just like it did for the other one. You're going to click I am a student. It's going to ask you for the password, and remember our password is kite ride, KITERIDE 6157. So it has the exact same password, which is wonderful. And then you're going to sign in. Okay, and then you're going to find the science spin. Here it is, right there. Click on it. And you've got the same type of thing. You don't have as many features as you do with the Scholastic News, but you've got a little video that goes with it. You've got the vocabulary slideshow, and then you can listen and read. And there it is. And then you're going to hit the yellow up here, listen, read aloud, and it will read it to you. Okay, so you can either read it by yourself or you can go on your device and have your device read with you, and you can look at the video and all that fun stuff. Okay, so that's for reading today. Now, let's take a look at math. Yesterday we did page 615 and 616. So today I thought we would go through and we would correct them. Okay, number 4, the time on the clock is 4:15. Number 5, the time on the clock is 7:45. Oh, let's go back to 4. Another way of saying this is 4:15. And for number 5, another way of saying 7:45 is 7:45. Now when you're doing 7:45, then you go to the next hour. Because it's not 7:15, it is 7:15 until 8 o'clock. And then sometimes, remember, they say 7:15 till 8 o'clock. Either way is fine. Number 6, our hour hand is pointing just a little bit off the 2, so it is 2:15 or 2:15. Number 7, we had to do 1:45. So here is my hour hand almost at the 2, but not quite. And here, if it's 1:45, my minute hand is on the 9 because that leaves me one more quarter until the 2 o'clock. Now, when you write this on the digital clock, it is still 1 o'clock, and we say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And it is 45 minutes after 1. And we can say it that way. We can say 45 minutes after 1, or we can say 1:45. Okay, so there's many different ways to tell time. There's different ways of saying the same time. Number 8, 5:15. So my hour hand is just a little bit past the 5. If it's 1/4, that means my minute hand is on the 3. So we can say 5:15 or we can say 5:15. Number 9, 12:15. Okay, so my hour hand is a little bit off the 12. My minute hand shows 1/4 past 12 o'clock, 1/4 past 12. Or you can say 12:15 on the digital clock. Alrighty, now we have to write the time. 12:45. 12:45. And that would look like this. 12:45 would look like that. So it's almost 1 o'clock. We have 1/4 of the way to go until 1 o'clock. So we could say it is 1/4 to 1, or we could say it is 12:45. Okay, number 11, 4:15. 4:15 is 1/4 after 4. 4:15 or 1/4 after 4 on the analog clock. Number 12, 9:30. Remember, if it's 30, it is half past the hour of 9. So on a digital clock, it looks like this, 9:30. On the analog clock, it looks like this, 9. Remember how the hour hand is between the 9 and the 10? 30. When the minute hand is pointing to the 6. Alrighty, let's turn it over. All right, up here, Mia's at school. School is over at 3:15. She has 3 more hours to wait. What time is it now? So I would take my 3:15, and on my analog clock, 3:15 looks like this, and I would count back 3 hours. Because school isn't over yet. It's not over till 3:15. So I would count back. Here's 1 hour, 2:15. 2 hours, 1:15. 3 hours, 12:15. So it is 12:15 right now. And she has 3 hours to wait. So after 12:15 comes 1:15, 2:15, 3:15. So 3 hours later it would be 3:15. So right now it is 12:15. Number 14, Karen goes to a friend's house at 2:15. Circle the clock. Now look here at this one. See how the hour hand is below the 3? So this is actually 5:10. This is 10 minutes after 3 because this is our minute hand and this is the hour hand. So here the hour hand is pointing at the 2 and the minute hand is pointing at the minutes. So this one is 2:15. You have to make sure you got to look at that hour hand. Okay, and we did the brain builders together yesterday. All right, so let's take a look at our matrix today. It says we will complete pages 619 to 622 in your math packet together on the YouTube video. So we're going to do these together. Okay, so the first one is called Math in My World. And I forgot one of my pages, so I'm going to go run and get it real quick. Alrighty. We will complete 619 in your math packet. Okay, so I take it we're going to do these together. All right, whoops, sorry, I always do that. Alrighty, now, today we are showing time to the 5-minute mark. Okay. To the 5-minute mark. All right, and we've kind of been doing that as we've been going along. So take a look at the clock that we have here. Look at all of these little spaces right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 5 minutes. And then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is 10 minutes. Now we know how to count by 5, so let's count by 5. Start up here at the top. We have 5, 10, 15, another 5 would be 20, another 5 would be 25, another 5 would be 30, another 5 would be 35, and another 5 here would be 40. So let's take a look at the directions. Count by 5s as you trace the dotted line. Label each jump 5, 10, 15, and so on, and then draw the minute hand. Write the time on the digital clock. Alrighty, so this is, we have the minute hand here. So the minute hand went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So we're going to draw our minute hand right here. And remember, the minute hand goes through the number. All right, now they want us to write what time it is on the digital clock. So we have to look at our hour hand. Our hour hand is right here. It is between the 5 and the 6. So is it 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? Right. We always go back to the smaller number. So it is 5, and then how many minutes past 5 is it? 40 minutes past 5. So we say it is 5:40. So that is how you count by 5s to get your number of minutes. Okay, so remember the clock can be cut in half. Whoops. And you have your 30 minutes. The clock can be cut in quarters. This is no minutes up here at the top. 15 minutes when it's on the 3. 30 minutes when it's on the 6. 45 minutes when it's on the 9, and then back up here at no minutes when it's on the 12. So the 5 minutes in between each quarter hour mark is when we count by 5s. And that's what we're going to practice today. Telling time to the 5-minute interval. So turn your paper over. And let's read at the top. It takes 5 minutes for the minute hand to move to the next number. You can skip count by 5s to tell the time. So that's what we did here. This clock shows 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Shows 40 minutes after 9. See how it's not quite to the 10 yet? Write the time another way. So we look at the hour. The hour hand is not at the 10, so we're going to go back to the 9. So it is 9:40. Each mark, that means each one of these little marks here is 1 minute. And then these big black ones right here are the 5-minute marks. Okay? So tell what time is shown. Use the clock to write the time. Okay, so we're always going to start with the hour. Remember, the hour is the shorthand. And on our work, it's the red hand. But sometimes clocks don't always have a red and a blue hand. So I want you to remember that the hour hand is the shorthand. Remember, hour is a short word, and it fits on that shorthand. And minute is the long word, and it fits on that longer hand. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the hour. Our hour is between 12 and 1. Has it hit 1 o'clock yet? Not yet. So it is still 12 o'clock with some minutes after. Let's see how many minutes. We're going to count by 5. So we're going to start up here at the 12. And when we go to the 1, we're going to say 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is 20 minutes past 12, or we can say it is 12:20 on the digital clock. So 20 minutes past 12, or you could say 20 minutes after 12, or you can say 12:20. Alrighty, let's look at number 2. Look at that hour hand. It's not directly on the 4 yet, is it? So even though it's super close to the 4, it is not 4 o'clock yet. We still have to go back here to the smaller number. So it is 3, and then let's count by 5s to see how many minutes. You start up here at the 12, and we're going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So it is 3:55. Not quite 4 o'clock. It's almost 4 o'clock. We only have 5 more minutes left until we get to 4 o'clock. But it is not 4 o'clock yet. It is still the hour of 3. Okay, look at number 3. Which one is the hour hand? The shorthand. Notice how the shorthand is a little bit off the 4, but not to the 5. So the hour is 4. And we're going to start up here at the 12, and we're going to count by 5s to see how many minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it is 4:25, or 25 minutes after 4. Okay. All right, now down here it says, tell what time is shown. Draw the minute hand to show the time. So let's read the digital clock. It is 10:35. So they gave us the hour hand. See how it's about halfway between the 10 and the 12? Now we have to find 35 minutes. So we're going to start up here at the 12, and we're going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So our minute hand should be through the 7. That is 10:35. Or we can say 35 minutes after 10. So explain how you can skip count by 5s to tell the time. Skip counting by 5s helps us find how many minutes after the hour is. So that gives us the number of minutes after the hour. Imagine if you had to count every single one of those little lines right there. That would take you a long time. So we know that between each number there is 5 minutes. And we know it's pretty fast to skip count by 5s, and we're pretty good at skip counting by 5s. So that makes it faster and easier for us to tell the time when we skip count to give us the minutes. All right, now we're going to continue with 621. Okay, so you should have this page. We are going to tell what time is shown both on the analog clock, on the analog clock, and then we're going to write it on the digital clock. All right, so take a look up here. We have to first of all look at the hour hand. The hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, but it's not on the 4 yet. So we go back to the hour before, which was 3. And now we're going to count how many minutes it is when the minute hand is on the 10. Now, maybe we could start to shorten this up because we know that half of the clock is 30. So if you're not able to, go back up here and start with 5s. But if you are able to, you can go 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You could start here at 30 because you know that when the minute hand is on the 6, that is the 30 mark. So we've got 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So it is 3:50. 50 minutes past 3. Okay? And it's only 5-10 minutes to 4, isn't it? Okay? All right, look at number 6. Look at your hour hand first. It's between the 6 and the 7. We go back to the smaller number, the 6. And now we notice that the minute hand is a quarter of the way around the clock. Now, if you have that memorized, you know that that is 15 minutes. If you don't have that memorized, go back up here to the 12 and count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. So it is a quarter after 6, or we could say it is 6:15. Okay. Now, the next one here has the hour hand between the 2 and the 3. It's almost on the 3, but not quite yet. It's not quite 3 o'clock. It is still 2 o'clock. Now again, you know that this is 30 and you could continue on. But if you don't remember, you can start up here at the 12. Let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And some of you may already have this memorized, that when it is 3/4 past the hour, you know that that is the 45-minute mark. So it is 2:45 or 45 minutes after 2. We could also say it is a quarter to 3 because 3 o'clock comes after 2:45. Okay? Alrighty, now we have to tell the time on the analog clock. So 5:45. Alrighty, 5:45. So 45 is clear over here. I can do my minutes first if I want. Here's my minutes. Now, 5:45 means it is almost 6 o'clock. So I'm going to have my hour hand over here. It's almost 6 o'clock. See how close it is to the 6? Okay, and I actually made that a little long. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Because remember, our hour hand does not touch the number. Okay, so here is the hour hand. It's still 5 o'clock. And then it is 45 minutes after 5. All right, the next one, 12:35. Well, I know that it's going to be between the 12 and the 1. And 35 minutes, let's see where that is. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So here's my minute hand. And so that tells me it's a little bit more than 12:30. So I'm going to put my hour hand in the middle of the 12 and the 1. Okay, remember the hour hand moves too. It just doesn't move as fast as the minute hand. So this is 12:35 or 35 minutes after 12. Okay. The next one, 9:50. So it is still 9 o'clock, but we have 50 minutes after 9. Okay, so let's start up here and let's do our minutes first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So this is where my minute hand is going to be. Remember, my minute hand goes through the number. And then my hour hand, here's my minute hand. I got to clean that up a little bit. Now my hour hand, it's still 9, but it's 9:50, way past the half hour mark. So my hour hand is actually going to almost be on the 10. So that one looks like that. Here is 9:50. If we look at the clock here, you can see how the minute hand is on the 50, but the hour hand is also almost to the 10. So they kind of are almost on top of each other, but not quite. 9:50. 50 minutes after 9. All right, 11, 12, and 13, they want us to draw the hours, the hour hand, the minute and hour hand again. So 2:20. Well, I'm going to do my minutes first. 5, 10, 15, 20. So here is my 20 minutes. And now I have to do my 2. Now, it's not going to be directly on the 2, but it's not going to be directly in between because it's not quite 2:30. So it's just going to be a little bit off the 2. So now we have 2:20. Yeah, the hour hand makes it kind of difficult. Okay. 8:45. Let's do our minutes first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so here's my minute hand. So it is 3/4 of the way around, 8:45. So it is almost to the next hour, and the next hour would be 9. So I'm going to put my hour hand almost at the 9, but not quite. So this would be 8:45. The hour hand is almost on the 9, but it won't be there until the minute hand is at the 12. So it is almost 9 o'clock. Okay, number 13, 1:25, 25 minutes after 1. So let's find the 25 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So my minute hand is my long one. And notice how it's almost to the halfway mark. So my 1 o'clock, my hour hand is going to be just about in the middle between the 1 and the 2 because it is almost half past 1 or the 1:30. Yeah, the hours are a little tricky. The hour hand is either directly on the number, a little bit off the number, halfway between the number, almost to the next number until it gets on that next hour. Okay, so for every quarter hour, that hand moves a little bit. All right, let's turn it over to our problem solving here. If the hour hand is close to the 11 and the minute hand is pointing to the 10, what time is it? All right, well, let's put the minute hand on the 10. And it says the hour hand is close to the 11. So here is the minute hand on the 10. My hour hand is almost to the 11, but not quite. Let's see what time it is then. So let's count it by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So our minutes is 50. Now, is our hour 11 or is our hour 10? Good if you said 10. It is not quite 11 o'clock yet. It's almost 11 o'clock, but the hour hand is not directly on the 11. So it is 10:50. It is 50 minutes after 10 o'clock. Okay, let's try this one. A group of people get on an amusement park ride every 5 minutes. It is now 3 o'clock. There are 7 groups ahead of Alyssa and her family. What time will her family go on the ride? Okay, so we're going to make a pattern, aren't we? All right, I like to draw a picture when I do my patterns. So a group of people get on every 5 minutes. It is now 3 o'clock. So I'm going to put my first time is 3 o'clock. Okay, there are 7 groups ahead of Alyssa and her family. So they're like the 8th group. All right, so here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups, 7 groups, and then here's Alyssa's family. Alrighty, so it is now 3 o'clock. So this group gets on at 3. The second group is going to get on at what time if it's every 5 minutes? Yes, 3:05. Okay, so that's 2 groups. Now the third group is going to get on at 3. So here's our clock. Well, we can just use this clock. So 3:05, 3:10, 3:10. Okay. Then the next group is going to get on at 3:15. Do you see how we're counting by fives? 5, 10, 15. Okay, and then the next group gets on at 3:20. And then the next group gets on at 3:25. So this is the first group, the second group, the third group, the fourth group, the fifth group, the sixth group, the seventh group. The seventh group gets on at 3:30. So remember, they're the 8th group, right? So what time do they get to get on the ride? We've got 30 minutes here, so we're going to add another 5 minutes, which is going to be 35 minutes after the hour of 3. So they got on the ride at 3:35. So they had to wait for 35 minutes to get on that ride. It's kind of a long time. Alrighty, let's do a brain builder here. It says Will gets to the theater at 7 o'clock. It takes 20 minutes to get snacks and 5 minutes to find a seat. What time was Will ready to watch the movie? Alrighty, well, I like to draw pictures. So 7 o'clock, he gets to the theater. It takes 20 minutes to get snacks. So if on my clock it is 7 o'clock, and it takes Will 20 minutes, 5, 10, 15, 20. So right now, what time is it on my clock? It is 7:20. Okay, so it takes him, he gets done getting snacks at 7:20. Takes him 20 minutes to get snacks. Then it takes him 5 minutes to find a seat. So we were at 7:20, and then it takes him 5 minutes to find a seat. So what time is he ready to start watching the movie? 7, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So he is ready at 7:25 to watch the movie. Okay, because it took him till 7:20 to get his snacks. And then another 5 minutes, 7:25. Alrighty, you write math. What time is it when the hour hand is between the 5 and the 6 and the minute hand is on the 7? So the hour hand is between the 5 and the 6 and the minute hand is on the 7. What time is that? Well, we know that it is 5. And then how many minutes past 5 o'clock is it? Let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So it is 5:35. Okay, now how do we know that? Okay, so we know that it is 5 o'clock because the hour hand is between the 5 and 6. And we know that we always go back to the smaller number, and that tells us the hour. Okay, then we count by 5s and get 35 minutes after 5 if the minute hand is on 7. Okay, so we have figured it out. If the hour hand's between the 5 and the 6, we know it's the hour of 5. If the minute hand is on the 7, that tells us it is 35 minutes after the hour. So 5:35 is the correct time. All right. So no math homework today. All you need to do then is your science spin and your My Favorites packet in your memory book. All right. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.